It's that time again, Our Town Live, where friends, family, people you know share with us their unique bits of wisdom. And now, here's Herb, your host, for another show.
David Binion is an AI, artificial intelligence researcher at Georgia State University. He has worked on projects such as NLP or language recognition and is spreading his knowledge out to others through LinkedIn articles as well as many other platforms. Binion says that one of the most common topics for people to bring up is, will we really have to worry about Terminators? Terminators are a type of hunter-killer designed to terminate other life forms. Terminators are built by an artificially intelligent computer called Skynet in order to wipe out the remains of the human race. He believes current concerns are more important, such as the impact of machine learning on privacy and the impact of the government on its own citizens as opposed to foreign powers. David also believes that many AI concerns are overhyped and every problem within computer science has a solution, even if that solution is just being concerned and keeping a level of focus to ensure the problem cannot come to pass. So, before the earth ends, let's meet David Binion. What does it mean, artificial intelligence?
A way of trying to get the computer to mimic a natural action as opposed to a machine-based action. If you use it in a game, for example, it takes the place of a player, and so it takes the place of a character as opposed to just some random script that happens and flashes across the screen that you can read.
What do you actually do with artificial intelligence?
What you do with it is you make it easier for humans to interact with whatever system they're interacting with. Using the game example again, it's much more engaging if the person believes that they are within the world talking to someone, or if they're playing against someone, as opposed to just playing Tetris. You have a lot of people that do play Tetris, but you have a lot more engaged fan bases with these other games that actually have non-player characters and actually use artificial intelligence to create various...
What do you do as a researcher?
What my area of focus is would be adaptive artificial intelligence. So my current work is trying to get a neural network to create another new neural network. And the entire system is based around it boils down to a paper, scissors, rock game. But with all the different systems that are going on, what my theory is none of these other systems will adapt except for one very specific one, which requires the programmer to know about the game itself. But this one should adapt without any former knowledge. So the moment that the entire paper, scissors, rock system switches, it's reversed, this one should still adapt.
In layman's terms, what is a neural network?
It's pretty much an attempt to mimic the circuitry within the brain. So you have all these neurons. It's trying to take the place of that. So each node in the neural network would be one neuron. It just takes in some input and then it just fires or it doesn't.
What are the questions? There's a lot of questions people ask about AI, artificial intelligence. What do you think the possibility for a young person especially to go into artificial intelligence and to find a job? Are they in demand? Do they pay well? What would you say to that?
Oh, it's very high. I have a friend, for example, as long as they do the right things. I have a friend, for example, that went for an internship and got a job at $70,000 pretty much straight off. He asked for lower, and then to make sure that he stayed on, they gave him a pay within the range that they were offering, as opposed to what he was asking for, which is rare, honestly, but that's what they did. I also have several friends who went into the undergrad system, and that exploded. So when they went in from there, with no experience from an internship, no projects that they completed on their own, it was basically just they went in to complete a few courses and then try to look for a job. None of them got any jobs. But if you do the right stuff, you actually show that you've done something, then you'll definitely get a job in the area. For me, I went up to a master's before I went for a job, and that worked that worked in its own way. I got the job myself. I got it well paying, and everything was fine from there. But that's just because I went an extra step in the same way that all these other people do. The ones that actually get the job. What they should do if they want a job in the area, though, is they don't need the degree. They don't need the higher degrees either. It's all of this stuff you can learn online. You can do projects. You can show that off and move forward from there. Once you get the experience, that's all you really need.
As an inexperienced person looking for a job in AI, how would you suggest I approach anyone so that I can create a resume for myself that I've worked somewhere? What would you say to do?
Would you prefer to go into management or actual development?
Development.
Well, in that case, there's a website that I really like called Code Academy. So this is CODECADEMY. If you go to Code Academy, it'll teach you all the basics for how to do programming, and it's pretty simple. It goes into things very easily, and I don't quite remember how it breaks it down, but there are really only 4 things that you need to remember in it, and you can figure that out once you actually go through it. There's not much to remember. Everything in programming is basically like a small, very small set of puzzle pieces that you just put together to make whatever puzzle picture you want. So once you learn that, then you can start to learn, okay, what libraries can I pull in to be able to make these things? I would say go with Python, because the Python language, named after the snake, the Python language has a lot of libraries that were pulled in to actually do these things. So these are things that people have already built out. You don't need to learn how to write a neural network yourself. You can go to one of these libraries and put that through. Or find an online tutorial. You can go to Google and type in AI example Python, and that'll bring up an example for that language for how to do some basic thing in AI, just so you can learn what the library is that you need and what code examples you would need to base whatever you want to do off of.
Would you suggest this person that has trained himself or herself send resumes in, or go knocking on doors and say, I want to go to work?
I don't think you can send resumes into most of these tech companies, though most of their websites are also pretty bad when it comes to the resumes themselves. And at this point, I don't think sending resumes in will really be too helpful. It might be send out 1,000 and you might get 1 or 2 responses back. But if you talk to a recruiter and tell them what you do, what you've done before, then and what sort of experience you've accumulated, then the recruiter, that's someone that the job might actually listen to. They'll actually help you get in the door. Otherwise, if you look at whatever company, if you have a specific company in mind that you want to join, if you talk to someone in there, they could better help you how to actually join. And if they really like you, then they might actually give you a recommendation for their HR company.
A person like this with no degree, what if they did get hired, if they were given an opportunity, what kind of salary could they expect for their first year?
I think the first year would probably be about $50,000, but this is something that's better found online. If you go to Glassdoor or LinkedIn, they will show salary examples based off of experience. For me, I would say that just from what I've seen, I would say that no experience at all, but you do know how to code, you'd probably get about $50,000. But if you do have experience, if you have been an intern, for example, just for the summer, or if you've gotten a higher degree, or if you've gotten a lot of projects in that they'd be looking for that are really closely matched to what they do, and you've done that for about a year, then you'd probably get about 70.
Are you a student, or are you an employee of Georgia State?
I'm a student at Georgia State, but I'm also working at a company full-time as well. The company that I'm at did hire me for AI, but they moved on to other things, so I'm currently helping them out with web development. But my job, but my research at Georgia State is ongoing, and I'm hoping to have that completed by next year.
Are you single or married? How do you relax when you're not researching and not studying?
Well, I actually have a few projects going on, so I suppose that the thing that I should say is I'm working on those. I do have a couple of different things that I'm working on, such as a translation-based messenger, and then also a stock prediction system. I'm not sure if that one's going to work, but I am hoping.
Would you be so kind as to give them an email or a text or a phone where they can get you?
The best place to reach me is probably LinkedIn. And my page is linkedin.com/in/dbinion, spelled DBINNION. But if you take that and go to my email, that's dbinion@gmail.com. I am less likely to see it in my email. Generally, personal connections are easier to find if it goes to LinkedIn, since I don't have quite as many things going into there. But again, that is DBINNION.
Well, listen, I do appreciate you contacting us and spending these few minutes with us. And I'm sure we're going to give a lot of good information to people, especially young ones, looking for something to do in the AI industry.